Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to the Coach's Corner with Coach Jay. All right, guys, we got a special guest on today and some great things we're going to talk about. I got my guy Prime Time up here. What's up, Prime?
Man, what's up, man? How you doing, man? It's on to be on your show, Coach Jay. We in the Coach's Corner. I'm bringing raw thoughts to the Coach's Corner.
Yes, bringing that energy, man, that thunder. All right, now listen. Before we get started, we got the jams in the background. Before we get started, we're going to go over one of our sponsors here, which this is sponsored by Echelon Bell and Rodriguez Andrews Insurance, serving your needs across the community. Guys, Echelon Bell, Faith Family, Peril Wise, Echelon Bell. Echelon Bell, Echelon Bell. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, next up, we're gonna kick it straight to the short intro real quick, you know.
But here we go.
When Arizona
All right, guys, listen.
Oh,
today
man.
we gotta. Yeah, it was quick, man. It was quick. You gonna miss it.
Very quick.
Going through like we going to Princeville. Conto. Hey, quick, like we driving through Conto.
Oh boy.
Hey man, today we got some great stuff coming up, man. And the first thing we got is college football playoff. Prime, I know you've seen the rankings come out. I know you've seen, you know, the teams that were slated to be in this year's playoff. What do you think about, you know, what happened? What are your thoughts on these 4 teams?
Man, raw thoughts, man. Raw thoughts. I like this. I think this Michigan and Alabama game is gonna be super competitive. Texas did beat Alabama. I mean, Texas was really good this year. It's been a while since you've seen Texas even near this level of play in the top 5. Better yet, top 10, maybe. It's been a while, you know. So this one of them years, NIL's kicking in. It's gonna probably get better down in Texas because they got good old stuff down there in Texas, and a lot of oil and a lot of money and a lot of ways to entice people to come to Texas. But man, this is my raw thoughts here, and I'm gonna talk about it on my show, Raw Mind Sports, in a few. It don't matter what you say, how you say it. Somebody gonna be mad. This voting committee is strange. This is not like the NFL where you have 32 teams or 30 teams or whatever the number is. Raw thoughts. You have so many teams that are deserving. Some teams that are, they say, got in luckily, but you also got to understand. To me, is like what team buzzing, what team makes sense, what team's gonna be competitive. Now, I did hear guys today that brought it up, saying something about TCU being in it and they got thumped. You don't want another situation like that. And I understand the Florida State situation, raw thoughts, and just being honest, like a lot of people kind of mad because they didn't get in. I mean, it's a lot of teams that had a fair shot. Well, quite a few teams had a fair shot, but you also got to look at like, who do you really want to see? Like, these games gonna be must-see TV. You know, at the moment, you know, must-see TV. Especially Alabama and Michigan, regardless, it's gonna be must-see TV. So you want games to be seen and noticed. Like people care. So regardless of the record, regardless of what happened, Florida State, you know, still didn't dominate. And plus, what people say, and I heard somebody say the other day, I seen on social media, like they're playing the ACC. The ACC is not known for college football. They're known for basketball, you know, and probably other sports, you know. So you beating ACC teams outside of Clemson, that's usually a juggernaut every single year in the ACC. And Florida State was always good back in those days, but I still didn't see it. And, you know, the games that they played, even though Coach Elko is gone from Duke, like they was in a dog fight with Duke. And that was with Jordan Travis, you know, and Duke lost 5 games this season, I want to say. And it was a few other games that were close. Like they didn't just dominate every single game. They did enough to win. So, but I also asked myself, do I really want to see Florida State play in a bowl game to get thumped? Even if it's right. I know people are saying morally right, their record and all that. And I get that. But do we really want to see Florida State without their star quarterback? Man, this game might be over before halftime. I'm just gonna be real. You're not gonna beat Michigan with that. You know, you're not gonna beat Texas.
Facts.
You don't have a quarterback. You're not gonna beat Washington. Washington is very explosive. I've seen them this season. So I'm looking at like, why are we wasting our time? Raw thoughts. Trying to find a way to put Florida State in the playoff. I mean, their season was good. They did play well. I'm not saying they don't have a right. But what I'm saying is, do we want to see that? does people do you really want to see that college football fans and people who fan the sport? Do you really want to see Florida State in this for? I mean, Georgia didn't even make it. Let's be real. And you know, Georgia lost to Alabama. They didn't make it. I mean,
they were number one.
Right. So I don't know if it's a playoff. Is there a way that Georgia? So Georgia basically can't get no shot in the national championship. They don't have a shot. So I'm asking.
No.
So Georgia don't have a national
shot. I mean, only way you can have a shot if they extended to 6 or 7 teams. That would be nice. But
raw thoughts. This is what I was gonna say. And I ain't mean it, bro. With Georgia not getting it, I'm surprised Kirby Smart ain't went off. But I ain't seen maybe he got something out there today that happened. But for me, I did say earlier, I said maybe get the top 25 teams, do it like a ranking, like they do. And somebody made a comment today talking about some kids shouldn't play that many games. I'm gonna give you raw thoughts. Well, we should be talking about this conversation anyway, because I mean, it's a tough situation. Like, no matter how you try to vote, I don't want to be the committee making a vote because somebody's gonna be mad. And I probably the type, you just get mad at me. I don't care. It is what it is. I'm the raw thoughts. I'm a Capricorn. I'm the biggest. I don't care. If I get into that mode, I'm the biggest. I don't care what you think. So you know this is raw thoughts.
Capricorn here too.
right. It is what it is. When I don't care, I just don't care. You can say whatever, however you feel. You wasting your breath. But I just don't want to be on that voting committee because it's just too much. It's too much of a headache trying to figure what team deserves this, deserve that. It's so many people who have valid points. And for that committee to even make that, it's still a tough situation. Only thing they'll probably say now, a lot of people always swear down the committee, always look out for Alabama. And that's raw thoughts. That's what they say. I'm not saying that because I'm not in there, but what I'm saying, this is what the people say. This is what the people always say. And I'm not saying that because I know you're an Alabama guy. I'm saying this is what the people say. But that's all my raw thoughts on that.
Shots
just a tough situation.
fired. Shots fired.
Look, man.
We're gonna talk a little bit about Florida State a little later in this, man. But I like that. Honestly, I like the 4 teams that are in there.
I do.
You know, of course, you know I like Alabama. I'm gonna be that type of guy right now. But you think about Texas. By them beating Alabama, they have to be in there. They have to.
Right.
You know, and the other 2 teams goes without saying they're undefeated. But it was really a toss up between Alabama and Florida State. I just think that strength of schedule was one huge one. And undefeated, you don't necessarily. I mean,
could you see Georgia being better than the 2 teams like Texas and Washington? I mean, outside of that,
I could see them being better, but when they lost and how they lost, and the ranking of the team that they lost to, if it was 1 versus 2, they wouldn't have dropped so far. You know, but I mean, honestly, I mean, Georgia. I mean, they're. I still feel like they're one of the top teams in there now. A Alabama versus Florida State game is going to be a bad one. Any of these teams playing, as you said, it's going to end bad. I even seen a post on Facebook. Somebody said it'll be like 60-0. I'm like, wow.
Because they don't have that start. I mean, at the end of the day, we all know how it goes. You're a starter for a reason. And if you wasn't, and if it was made a point that like somebody should be starting, unless it's bad coaching, a bad decision on the coach to start a player who should be starting, that's one thing. But Jordan Travis not playing is crucial, and that team is not the same. I'm just saying, it's no way. These 4 teams, I don't see them beat neither one of them, and that's just my raw thoughts.
Big time, man. But let's go ahead and go ahead to our next topic over here. There's a little NFL action coming in here. I don't know if you've seen this, but Young Koo surpasses Justin Tucker percentage in kicks, right? So I'm gonna switch this up so we can see the percentages. 89.9%. He was Mr. Get It Done. Young Koo at 90%. Whew. That's legendary, man.
I know. I mean, that's right. I ain't gonna lie, man. Making field goals is a thing. Somebody gonna cut this man a check. Atlanta better hurry up and keep him.
Got to.
I'm gonna tell you, you ain't gonna be able to give a guy like this raw thoughts a simple $5 million now. This dude might get $20 million.
It ain't gonna work.
If he guaranteed, and I know it sounds crazy, $20 million to a field goal kicker. Shoot, Tom Brady had a field goal kicker that made a living off of crucial crunch time moments, right? And we know how it go. Get in field goal range, you got to get down to the game. Playoff games usually need a good field goal kicker down to the wire. If they got to march their team down the field and they're down by 2 or 1 point, then they're expecting their field goal kicker to go out there and make it. coaches, regardless of what the percentage is, they expect that field goal kicker to be out there and make it. And when you have this type of accuracy, man, it's no way. That's why the 49ers got lucky with the Michigan guy. At first, he missed a few, but Robbie Gould was money in the playoffs. So he's still out there, unavailable. But one of the reasons why is because Robbie Gould, I think he wanted $10 million or close to what that guy I just named out. But the point is, when you're that accurate, or you're that on that level, then you can demand what you want. And, but 49ers got lucky, which was wild. They drafted a field goal kicker in the 3rd round. Nobody drafts a field goal kicker that high. But apparently Moody is good. Jake Moody is good. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey, look, you're right, man. Look, I would too if he's that good. And field goal kicking is a prominent part of your team. You got offense, defense, and special teams. It's valuable to have a great field goal kicker. 384 out of 427 is greatness. I mean, you think about some guys are missing from 30 yards. I mean, bad misses. You see in college football, wide left, wide right. Like, what are you doing? Not ain't even raining outside. But hey, man, it pays to pay the players that you need. That's going to really help your team win down the stretch, man. Congratulations to Young Who, man. He's going to create greatness, man. It's just amazing from this guy. He can retire right now. He literally could. It might be better off, but yeah. Hey, I don't know if you heard about this story here, but great story right here, man. Running back. This reminds you of Tarboro High right here. Rushed for 65 times, 489 yards, 6 touchdowns.
In one game.
Whoa.
What in the world? 65 times.
65.
Man, they must kept the ball the whole game, didn't it?
Hey, look, it was 3 yards and a cloud of dust for this guy right here. That's amazing,
65
man.
carries, they didn't even throw the ball.
Didn't even think about it. If they did throw the ball, shoot, what was the other team doing? 3 and out.
65 carries, 65 times. I'm reading it now. 489 yards and 6 TDs. Man, this is insane. Who in the world allowed this to happen?
But look what it says, though, in the D2 final.
D2, Division II football.
That run game coordinator from the other side, I don't know if he's still there. He's looking for a house right now. He's looking for a house right now.
Right. Can you imagine your body getting hit that many times? I ain't gonna say he probably ran a lot of times free, but it's also a situation where like he's taking a lot of contact and a lot of body blows. Regardless if he gets tackled once or twice, your body's hitting the ground a lot. Facts. That's what all I'm thinking. Then too, for a guy to just run like that and you don't know how to game plan to stop that, and he's still running the ball, something ain't right. Unless they're doing a lot of motion, they just hand it off to him through a jet sweep or something. But man, unless he's getting a lot of tall sweeps, but going in the trenches, that's when 65 carries up to A gap, B gap.
2 games.
Right.
2 games worth of carries. And it's a state record. I need to see the tape. I need to see the tape for this guy.
I do too. Raw mind, raw thoughts.
Hey, that is extraordinary, man. It's just amazing, man. I just want to glance on this a little bit, man. I know I talked about this before, but it's just still on my mind, Prime. It's still on my prime. Oh, it's still on my mind, Prime, man. Dude, Carolina need to get this guy a call, man. Come on, they just lost yesterday.
This is interesting here, man. No, I don't want them to give him a call. That's just me, my raw thoughts. I don't want y'all to pick up the phone to even think about him. Find somebody else. Jim Harbaugh available, because I don't think he's coming back to Michigan next year. I really think that he's probably going to be out the door. He's going to probably provide a culture. But what Tepper said, he's looking for a long-term coach. So if you give Jim Harbaugh the reins to do what he needs to do, he took the 49ers to a Super Bowl when he was there, and then they tried to out him, and they really wanted him. It's Trent Baalke that was messing up stuff, but 49ers was good under him. Every year, they didn't miss the playoffs at all. They was always, every year, even in his last year, they were 500, 8-8. They made it to the NFC Championship the first year with Jim Harbaugh. Kyle Williams fumbled. The next year, they came back in Atlanta. That was when Julio, Roddy White, and all them guys down there, they beat it. That was Kaepernick year. That's when the year they went to Super Bowl. Then they came from one pass deflection away to get back to the Super Bowl with against Seattle. So Jim Harbaugh is a really good coach. He's an NFL guy. He knows football. It just depends on what type of style you want, but you're going to have to give him you just can't say after one season you're gonna fire him. Because right now, from what I seen today, between Jimbo Fisher and Frank Wright, it must be nice to be sitting at home collecting that big check.
Man,
y'all paying this man $54 million to stay home.
Lambo money.
Right. And you got Jimbo over there making 76 to stay home. But him, Steve Wilks was a good guy for that situation. The thing that makes Steve Wilks even was a better coach is the fact that they were having a Dollar Tree fire sale last year in Carolina. They were getting rid of everybody for cheap for the low, just getting rid of everything. And he was still making it work with what he had.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna say they were scraps, but he was making it work we had. And he's from Charlotte. He's from the area. He knows the culture. I'm just shocked. This is the second time this happened to him in Arizona, and it happened to him in Carolina. I don't know if they're gonna give him a call. Or it could be this. Unless the money is right, he may say they wrote him off, but he might not write back.
It might be a smart call for him, man.
Yeah,
I feel like he's better where he at right now.
No question, man. I don't know who they would go after, man, because Tepper, since he's been there, it's been bad. Richardson, he had Rivera there for years, so. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm looking at this now.
Oh no, you got it. You got it. We still on it.
So I don't know who the next coach will be. I think put like this. I think Jim Harbaugh will get a call. I definitely think Jim Harbaugh is going to get a call.
Facts.
Out of all coaches, he's going to get a call. I think he's going to go because he already coached in the NFL. He's a pretty experienced guy. This is my thing, man. Like, I'm just tired of the same coaches getting the same opportunities getting fired. Like you said with Frank Wright. And it's a few other coaches that always get called. People even probably brought up Bill Belichick. Like Bill probably done ran his course in New England, but I don't even know if he want to be in Carolina. If anything, I see Bill going to the Chargers because
winning situation.
6-0. And it's a much better situation. And a few players from the Chargers are hurt. So that's another thing that's kind of been devastating them.
I can see that.
But I think Jim Harbaugh is the first person people gonna call. Jim Harbaugh situation. If they win, especially if they win that championship, regardless of all the scandals and all that stuff, it ain't even gonna matter no more. Tepper probably is gonna take that shot. He needs a culture change. So only person I can think of right now will be Jim Harbaugh. I don't think he's a quarterback. He probably help Bryce develop. He played quarterback for years in the NFL. It's a shot. Raw thoughts.
Look, I totally agree, man. I don't think Carolina's a great situation for anybody. It's going to be a rebuilding point. You had guys there, you let them go. And there's a significantly drop off in their talent there. McCaffrey. So, they're going to have to do some building through the draft. And maybe building through free agency, but I don't see this being a great situation. If I'm a head coach right now and I'm talking, what's the best place for me? I'd rather go to the Chicago Bears. They've got a better team. I'd rather go to the Chargers, right? Offensively, defensively. But at the Carolina Panthers, now it's a better situation as far as like division wise. You can win it easily. Probably you might can win it at 8-5 or so, or 8-9 win team, you can probably win it. But other conferences, you're gonna have to probably get double digits.
I agree.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, man. I sure hate it for those guys down there, man. Tough. Look, guys, we've got a quick break. We're gonna shout out a little bit of our sponsor here, Echelon Bell, and before we get there, we're gonna give a shout out to America's team.
How about them Cowboys? Yeehaw! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Ran y'all clowns into the ground. I told you, didn't I? Oh, what? What you got to say now? Say something. That's right. Cowboys all the way, baby. This year, we the champs. Yo!
How about them Cowboys? Oh,
boy, that was interesting. There.
I knew you were going to kick off that one. All right, let's get started sponsors real quick. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Prime time. Talking about prime time. I know we talked about this a little bit on your show yesterday, man. About the Colorado season. Final thoughts, man. You know they let go somebody else in there. Somebody else resigned. Their top recruiting guys are resigning left and right. What's going on?
I think they may see something writing on the wall. It may be some culture wise, but I think it's not a problem with Deion. Deion is fine, coach. Deion has plenty of buzz. He's a guy that should have been coaching at Florida State. They were talking about today. They have a lot of things going on. Eventually, at the end of the day, they're going to get more guys. They're going to hire probably better people. And I got a strong feeling everybody that's left, it's about to get real. Deion about to probably build a stronger coaching staff because people understand that the money that's coming in, the revenue he's bringing in, regardless of their season. Like you got one good season, he could probably bring in a few coaches that are really good, could be really good. And that's all you need for that one season. Because his son, Travis Hunter, all leaving at the same time, and I just don't see him leaving. And everything was good, and then it just got bad. But I mean, that's what happens, man. Deion's gonna be fine. Colorado's gonna be fine. More room for more people to get recruited. It's a few people probably just didn't understand what they're about to get into, and I think that's what it was. It ain't even necessarily about just the wins and losses. I really think that some other factors that played in the play. You know, Deion gonna be Deion. So you know, it looks bad right now. Say it again.
Oregon said they was playing for clicks, man.
Yeah. And they definitely they still gonna be playing for clicks, but they gonna be playing for wins too. And like he said, he knew from the beginning of the season, like this one gonna be a good year. So the people who had like bailed out, it's not that he's shocked. It's like he already knew because he knew this season was not gonna be what it is. Now next year could be a difference. You're gonna have the same players back, being able to play. We're gonna see how that works out. But yeah, that was it.
Hey, maybe they didn't believe. Maybe in their eyes they saw smoke and mirrors, right? You know, hey man, I don't think we're gonna be that great, you know. But hey, when you know, if you're on the staff and you really believe and truly believe in the system and the process, you're gonna be there when you're 1-9, because you're gonna believe that 1-9 next year will be 9-1. You know what I mean?
And you got to think about like how he had an overhaul at the beginning of the season to bring in players. So I mean, it was gonna take some time. People still coming to them games. You still gonna have a chance to get NILs and get a degree. And you would, you know, Deion, regardless if they win that championship or not, like the network,
you going places.
Brand he is right. That's just enough in itself, no question.
I think they'll be fine, man. I just think seriously this year, when you think about it, you look at that roster, they don't have a lot of guys behind guys, and then also they were almost the worst in the NCAA in defense. So they're only going to go up from there. I think they get more defensive starters, more better guys going. The backups, maybe some special team guys. They're going to be better next year. I just see it. They were in a lot of their games last year. Nobody talked about Colorado. They won't doing nothing. No, it won't even no competitive games. So I think it was just a complete win for those guys, even if they only won 4 games. But we'll see next year, man. All right, so we alluded to this a little bit earlier about college football a little bit. I want to kind of go back to the rankings a little bit, man. And we talked about possibly, Ohio State and Oregon and Georgia being, further down, and possibly Georgia could possibly have played there. But this is one thing I want to kind of talk about here, right? You look at the 1 through 7, right? Possibly, and I saw a quote from a professional football player that said, "Hey man, what if they extended to 6 teams, right? Just emergency situation, right? And we let Georgia, Florida State in, right? That would be interesting. You see Michigan and Washington will get the bye, and you'd have Texas, Alabama versus either one of those guys will play Florida State or Georgia. That would be interesting. I think that would be the better situation, but it's not going to happen.
Man, just this list in itself, everybody has a fair fight. It's amazing, though, that Florida State beat Louisville. They went down 1, but Georgia losing to Alabama, they went down 5. Like, that's... Man. They took a hit. Man, they took a hit. But I told you previously on the show the other day, playing against Alabama, playing against Georgia, although Georgia should have won, is what I was saying, is that it's a chess match. Like, Nick Saban knows Kirby Smart. Nick Saban also knows, Steve Sarkisian. These guys have been on his coaching staff. So, he knows their games. He knows the chess games. He knows what's going to be played. They probably have intense practices or whatever. You never know. But, I mean, this right here is interesting, man. Like Florida State, like I said, they have a valid point. again, do you want to see Florida State in the game? Like, and this is the beauty of the college playoff community. They actually vote. In the NFL, you hurt, you just go on the field you get playoffs. It don't mean you're gonna be in the playoffs long.
True.
You gonna get your shot. College playoff. I'm gonna have this game worth watching. We talking about revenue. We talking about buzz. We talking about keeping eyes glued. So Alabama and Michigan, even if it was Alabama, even if it was Michigan and Georgia, would still been a good game. But to see Michigan play against Florida State, if they was out of there, man, no way. Like I said, that's my raw thoughts.
Look, all I want to say is this, right? Last time we played Michigan was in 2020. We beat them 35-16. Yeah, I'm excited about this game. I'm excited. And then you think about it, right? We still got to pay back Texas. We played them before and we lost 34-24.
That's a Texas get past Washington, but I mean, it's a possibility. Penix is a quarterback.
Listen, Penix is a quarterback, but also Texas has a stud. Last year, we almost got beat by Texas last year because of that quarterback now, but he got hurt.
Yeah, Ewers is back. He's healthy. No, I agree with that.
Yeah, he's a beast, man. But there's a lot of broken hearts on this because of this rating, man, this rankings, man, and I feel for him, man. And that which goes to our next topic. Do you think some of the issues with it was because of the ACC was a weak conference, or was it just solely because of injury?
That's always the thing, most of the time you say NC State always plays pretty good. Carolina's somewhat fair in and out. Yeah. Florida State, even with Jimbo when he was there, they were really good.
True.
But this season, Clemson's not the same Clemson. Carolina's not the same Carolina. NC State's playing good football. So when you're trying to vote, the SEC is always going to take priority over every conference most of the time. It's usually going to be SEC, Pac-12, maybe, which is about to be demise now, maybe. In that range,
man.
Right, it's three of them. It's Pac-12, it's about to be a demise. Big Ten, SEC, they always take rights. ACC, other conferences, they hit the back seat quick. They ain't got a Big 12 no more, so get moved to SEC. So I feel like that's what it was. I definitely know. Matter of fact, raw thoughts, I definitely know what it was. They probably looked at that schedule like, no Jordan Travis, and you play in the ACC. They probably like, yeah, right. No way. Unless it's Clemson. The only pass you're going to get if Clemson is that team. And I'm going to be real, because the Clemsons of old, they would probably say, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you'll have these healthy quarterbacks. But, hey, what's my guy? Trevor, is it Walker? Quarterback for the Jazz. Trevor Lawrence,
yes.
And Deshaun Watson. They had some really elite quarterbacks. Time at Clemson. So, I mean, those situations are different. But now your star quarterback is out. It hits different. So,
man, they made it seem like they had a Pop Warner quarterback back there. They still won.
I mean, they still won.
If it won't Bama in that spot right there, I'll be like screaming to the mountains about this one. But I'm glad it happened. I'm
over Georgia.
Oh,
hey, Georgia, if you say no, Alabama's not in it, so you will say that you would rather have Florida State in it. If Alabama wasn't in it, and I mean, of course, you don't like Georgia, but I'm saying
Georgia.
I guess off the bias. So if Alabama wasn't in it, would you rather see Florida State in that spot get blown out, or would you see Georgia to bring a competitive game? And what's the other team? I saw another team up there but no, that's it.
It would have
Ohio State. Ohio State is Ohio State, but I don't see them taking that spot. But I mean, I liked it. They would probably gave them in Michigan. There would have been a brawl again. So no, Georgia. It had been Georgia. I think I would rather seen Georgia than Florida State at the moment, because I know it's gonna be a dog fight, and Kirby Smart had the boys ready. But Florida State, I mean, they deserved it. I hate it for them. I hate the situation, but I guess committee was like, man, again, as I've been saying over and over on this show, I guess they looked at it like, no, this not it. Man, this music got me calm, man. But go ahead, finish up, man. I'm on him mellow.
listen, the committee was super disrespectful on this one. Let's take a look at who they last played, right? Georgia, 24-27. They only lost by 3. That's their only loss by 3. Okay. And Ohio State only lost by 6. Somebody had to lose either one of these games. So honestly, if Alabama didn't make it there, I honestly think Georgia or Ohio State would have leapfrogged Florida State, either one of them. They would have put those guys either above. Florida State wasn't going to get in there anyway because their quarterback was out. I don't think so. Georgia. Yeah. I mean, it would have been. It's a tough situation here. I hate it for Florida State. You think about your job each year is to be undefeated, right? And they always say you're undefeated, you make it to the college playoff. The final year, we get so much parity. But hey, I guess it goes with the territory, man.
Hey, yeah, it's what my grandma used to say all the time. It's hard, but it's fair. Yeah, but they'll probably say that ain't fair. It ain't fair. I'm like, okay, shoot. they ain't making that same mistake no more. They saw with TCU. That's raw thoughts. Go ahead.
That ain't. You know what? Yes, you're right. TCU ruined it last year for a lot of people. You were like, okay, well, we're gonna get a great game, and then like by halftime, by halftime, we all just probably turn into probably NBA game or something like.
Right. Raw thoughts.
That's tough, man. I hate it for them, man. But TCU can say, man, we were in the national championship. Yeah, that's all. That's all they can say. But here's an interesting fact I've seen online that they said, if you want a quarterback, go to Georgia for a quarterback. I always thought it was more of Cali. You know what I mean? I always thought it was Cali. Like, you think about the quarterback spread offense. They used to always call the spread system the West Coast system, things like that. That where they throw the ball a lot in Cali. But they're saying Georgia. What's your take?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I really thought Texas or California. I know Texas have big arenas. Football is crazy down there in Texas. They do a lot of spread in there. They throw the ball a lot down in Texas. That's like heaven when it comes to football. That's a definite football state. Georgia is, it's not dominant with basketball, but I get it. So if they're trying to find quarterbacks, they do have places in that state where I have seen multiple quarterbacks come from. Cali definitely is always. I would never. I put it to you like this: I would never say Georgia first off my mind if you would have said quarterbacks. I probably said Texas or California. Those are my raw thoughts. True.
I could definitely agree about that, man. If I was a recruiter looking for a quarterback, I want one of those big time 5-6 star quarterbacks that's in Texas, taking those powerhouses team to championships year after year. That's preferably that's what I would be, I would be looking out for. But we talked about this a little bit, earlier in deciding factor in my mind is. Yeah, the deciding factor in my mind was Alabama having the 5th strength of schedule and Florida State having the 55th, man. That's big time. That's tough, man. That's on you as an athletic department. You take care of your out of conference schedule. Like, you can schedule those games. So note to self: next time Florida State, play some ballers.
Get on that phone and find who is ready to play against you. No
go ahead, play somebody, play Clemson, play somebody that looks good, right? It look good on paper, right? But play somebody like that. Come on now. Well, of course he already played Clemson, but
it's in the ACC.
Play Texas or somebody, I don't know.
Yeah, Texas. Play Alabama regular season.
Big game.
It's not Pac-12 no more, but USC or somebody. Before they got terrible this season, you know how they go.
They don't want that Tide. They don't want it. I'm telling you. You're going to mess around and miss the playoffs. You play Alabama in the season. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm telling you. Roll Tide, man. All right. So this is something pretty interesting I've seen, right? How they're showing how these young quarterbacks started and how they fared. Like, you see right now, Bryce Young at 1-6, right? And you see these other guys, Trevor Lawrence, looking pretty good in Jacksonville, right? Joe Burrow. He's going to be the future of the franchise, right? Jared Goff went up and down. Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford was elite at one time, but what's your take on young Bryce?
Man, for one, before I start, man, I don't know, man. He's definitely a little buff in this picture because he looks skinny in LA. They must kept feeding him in Detroit. He looks real buff.
Hey,
I know he came from Georgia too, but
he been
I don't
eating.
know. Maybe he losing a lot of weight. So I don't know what they doing down there in LA.
He on
They
a
told him
diet.
they gotta- He must be. But Bryce Young, what you saying? He's good. He's gonna be good. It just the problem is we may not be able to see for a couple of years what Bryce Young could do because the Panthers have to fix everything around Bryce Young. You know they say with a car you got to fix everything. If Bryce Young gonna be the engine, you ain't got no tires. You can't get in the door. The alternator ain't working. You know the lights.
on the door.
You know gas cap, no gas. You know to put in the car or whatever. You know so right now they're gonna have to do a lot of things to make Bryce be fine. Bryce is not a kid that I'm gonna say like just put anything around him. He's gonna take over a game. You know, I wouldn't even think Brock Purdy would be successful with the Panthers right now if he was over there right now by himself with the weapons over there, in Carolina. I mean, it's the same thing. So I'm thinking like they have to bring in the right coach, as we were talking about earlier, and they have to put pieces around him and make stuff make sense. You know, the whole coaching staff, they fired the coach staff, they fired Josh McCown and Frank Wright. I was thinking like maybe keep Josh McCown around. They said, no, we don't want you either. So that let me know that they really did they brought a special teams guy in, which if he does good with special teams, they may keep him next season. He just won't be the head coach. Unless the guys, most coaches do bring their own staff. Bryce Young needs a lot of things around him to be successful. Not a lot of things, but the Panthers, and it's crazy. With bad as the season was going, the Panthers still had a shot at making the playoffs until Sunday, which is wild to me. You know, which is extremely wild. As bad as this team has been playing, you know. So, yeah, I just think that he's a good quarterback. He's in the wrong situation. If he was I know CJ Stroud is happy he didn't go to Carolina. I know he's probably like, thank God I wasn't no one pick. I'm glad I did go to the Texans. You know, so I mean, even though they lost yesterday, no, they didn't. They won yesterday. They won.
They sure did. They got
they won. Yeah, so he's been winning. He got a chance to be in the playoffs. But those are my raw thoughts, man. I just think that we're not going to see the best of Bryce Young until maybe 2 years from now. Unless next year they do a U-Haul and they just bring in all these key free agents. I don't even know what type of money the Panthers got because y'all got. Matter of fact, you got rid of your first round picks. You know, to get him. So, that's my.
Can you put this on? Should we be so? In that case, should we be blaming the GM? I mean, like, are you trying to play for somebody else? What are we doing? Like, you giving away stuff, everything.
Owner wanted. Temper comes off to me, and I don't even know him. Comes off to me like he wants everything done a certain way. It ain't be the GM fault, and maybe him pushing the buttons, but got a GM in place. But I guarantee you this: I know this for a fact. If Jim Harbaugh is the next coach of the Carolina Panthers, I'm not saying he is, but if he is, he's going to make sure that GM situation is legit because he went through a lot with the 49ers with Trent Baalke, which Trent Baalke is not down there. Trent Baalke is in the Jaguars now. Trent Baalke is smart with money. He actually probably had a good situation. Him and Doug Peterson probably work together, but this is going to take a collaboration and team effort from the head coach and the GM to fix the Panthers. For me, I mean, me being a diehard 49ers fan, as you know, but I'm from North Carolina, so I don't have no beef with the Carolina Panthers. I love it until they start talking junk to me, just like the Eagles fans. I don't have no beef with the Eagles until they start talking junk to me. Then, hey, I gotta do what I gotta do. You know, I ain't gonna just sit there and just say, okay, you win, and be a little punk about it. No, and you come at me. So, it's always good to see the Panthers playing good football in North Carolina because it hits different. Right now, you probably get tickets for $5, and that's the front row.
Riding in Pete days. we going back to riding in Pete days, and everybody like, man, come on, bro. What we doing? Like, listen, and not even talking about the quarterback. If I'm the Carolina Panthers, I'm looking at the free agent list right now. You know what I mean? I mean, you got Jarvis Landry out there. That's a game changer. You know what I'm saying? You got Kenny Galladay. You know what I'm saying? You got Shaquille Leonard out there, man. A linebacker out there, man.
You know, he's he ain't there no more, I don't think. No, he just got signed. He's signed with the Eagles. The Eagles. That's the one for the Colts, right? The linebacker for the Colts.
Yes.
Yeah, he just got signed with the Eagles today. Just then.
Now, what about Melvin Ingram? Have you heard any news about him?
I haven't heard anything about him.
Carlos Dunlap.
these guys must want a lot of money because these some good players. I know they're getting older, but I think the Panthers could use these guys for veteran leadership and stuff. Yeah, I don't know how much they asking, but guys like that could probably get paid some. That's why I'm trying to figure out like why some of these guys can be helpful for a Super Bowl winning team, a Super Bowl team making a team to try to make a Super Bowl run. The guys you just named will be good for them. They must want too much money. That's raw thoughts. But go ahead.
I mean, honestly, man, look, if I'm a GM right now, you ain't got nothing to lose. I mean, you already paying Frank Wright, for his Lamborghini and his Bugatti. So might as well go ahead and spend some more money, Shoot, they ain't going.
I think they will. I think they will. What is it? I think they will. I think if Jim Harbaugh gets there, because that's what Jim Harbaugh did with the 49ers. He gonna go out there and try to sign these free agents. Everybody you just named. Yeah. I will say that. He gonna try to make that move.
That's smart, because at the end of the day, I'd rather be a coach who say I lost with talent than the one that leads and be like, I had no opportunity because they didn't give me guys. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather have the guys, and now it's on me because I didn't put it together, than to be like, oh, I did everything I could, all the meetings, all the film study, everything, but we just didn't get it done because we didn't have talent.
Man,
I can't believe, it's tough, man. It's tough, man. Look, the next topic here, man, is about NFL penalties. All right. Now, Pete Carroll had an interesting statement, which I think is kind of, I don't like it though. He said, there's way too many calls on penalties during their game versus Seahawks. Like
Cowboys.
Oh, Cowboys. So Seahawks, Cowboys, right? When you're think about this, right? If you as a coach don't get calls, you're saying, oh, we don't get calls. But when you get too many calls, you're like, oh, don't call. What do you want? Do you want them to call it or not call it? Like, what are you doing?
No, rough thoughts, man. Yeah, coaches always do that. These situations right here, I get it. From the end, coaches want to win. Coaches' jobs can be on the line, especially if you one of them coaches that ain't getting no calls and you on the hot seat and you're losing. Yeah, that's what the referee. Now they start looking at the referees like, oh, I'm already on the hot seat and you over here making bad calls. You trying to get me fired because referees gonna keep their job unless they do something absolutely crazy and insane. They gonna always be somewhere doing games, football season. So they always gonna have somewhere for them to go. They don't necessarily do the same games, but they'll be able to go somewhere. In that game, it was a lot of penalties and a lot of calls, but every coach gonna fuss unless it's just blatant. Now you have some coaches look at so like, man, that was blatant. But when you're on the losing end, they gotta blame somebody, but they can't. And I know he about to get fined for this because most of the time when you try to talk about a referee, you get fined. So apparently, Pete Carroll didn't mind getting fined, but good luck with that next week. He coming to San Francisco.
I haven't heard anything about him getting fined, but it is an interesting topic, And here's the thing: the notion that I've heard in football, sports, from college, NFL, high school, people say, "Hey, man, if it's fourth quarter." And a flag, you see a blatant flag, don't call it. Like, I'm like, that's like teaching your player, when we're up 60 in a game to stop playing. I think no matter what, you got to play like it's the whistle. You got to play to the whistle like it's 0-0. Like it's, you know what I mean? You can't make calls in the first and then be like, well, don't make that call in the fourth quarter. Have you seen that when teams are up, people are saying, refs shouldn't call certain calls?
Man. That's another situation right here. Raw thoughts, like with the college playoff. Like you do if you do, you don't if you don't. Like it's just gonna be wrong regardless. It's a situation like now if you don't make that call in the game, then it's oh my god, that was blatant pass interference. You should have called.
You didn't call it, yeah.
Right. So it's like it's a whole lot of mixed emotions and both sides. So I would just hope the refs will do the right thing no matter the situation. But
be consistent.
You're gonna hear that's another pressure situation, but the referees get paid a lot in the NFL. So that situation is a little bit different. I don't know how much the committee get paid to vote for college football teams, but I do know the referees get paid some good money. So that's a whole different scenario. So you got to make the right calls and do what's right with the money you're making. Raw thoughts.
Bet. All right, guys. We'll be back. 30-second break, man. We're gonna shout out to one of our sponsors, my bro from Tarboro, James Barnes, man. Got his new album out, man. Let's hear a little bit from his track.
My favorite hymn, y'all. Yeah, put your hands together. Listen. There's not a friend like the lowly Jesus. Do you know? No, not one.
All right, y'all. I just want to show you a little quick snippet of that right there. If you want to catch No Not One by James Bournes Jr. It's on YouTube. I believe he got it on Spotify. So just check his album out. He's on Facebook, James Bournes Jr. All right. Next up, Swag Champions. Woo! I know we always talk some NFL football, but I love HBCU football, man. The Swag Champions, FAMU. You know, it's gonna be a MEAC versus MEAC Celebration Bowl, man. You know, of course, since they came from the MEAC, but you know, they running the SWAC right now. I mean, they lost one game, but you know, that's tough. You know, everybody gonna lose a game. Well, have you been following any of the HBCU this year?
I have a little bit. Definitely Central. That's about it. So raw thoughts. That is me.
Mm-hmm.
And something, but no worries. I'm about to take this to another level with SWAC and HBCU sports coming soon.
Yes, sir. Listen, just to kind of look at their schedule. Let's see who they lost against. University of South Florida. They almost knocked off South Florida. It was 24-38. Now when I saw that, that told me how good this team was going to be. Now the first game they were in the Orange Blossom Classic versus Jackson State. They won 28-10, but to go and play against a team like the University of South Florida, which is an FBS team loaded with 5-star guys, that's just amazing, man. I mean, that goes to show what Target's doing down there, the culture they're building down there. You know, they handled business last week against Prairie A&M 35-14. I mean, you know, Bethune-Cookman 24-7. Lincoln University, 28-0. We knew it was gonna happen anyway. I mean, Prairie View, they played them the first time, was 45-7. So we knew what was gonna happen in that SWAC championship game. So hats off to FAMU, man. You know, I'm excited for those guys, man. And when they were in the MEAC, they were a tough team, but however, I mean, they were only. It goes to show the difference of the strength of the MEAC and the SWAC. I believe honestly that the MEAC has a better overall team builder structure. They're better teams, even though there are less teams in the MEAC. I think the MEAC is a more stronger conference when you think about ball.
Yeah, I agree.
And that leading into our next topic. Now we've seen a lot. We've seen guys go, a few guys go to the NFL as a head coach. Of course, we've seen Hugh come from the NFL ranks, go down to the HBC ranks, and Prime go to the FBS ranks. Who do you think next is the next guy that make that leap? I mean, I know you might not know a lot of these guys. To me, I think FAMU's coach or NC Central coach will be the guys that possibly go. Maybe McNair. He had a great run down there when he was in Alcorn, and then he moved around a little bit. But do you think anybody would be able to make the jump, from the HBCU world?
Oh, HBCU world. So it don't matter what conference.
No, it don't matter. It's just it could be Division II or Division I. Anybody from HBCU going up to the FBS ranks with the vacancies.
Hugh Jackson has been in the NFL for years and years and years. I think he's probably content where he's at. But if he gets another shot, he'll probably be first one because he already has experience.
Yes.
George at Tennessee State could definitely get a shot. I really feel like he'll get a shot. He's a running back guy, regardless of what's going on.
Yeah. Do they need to win more?
Oh, no doubt, no question about that. But he has
a big name,
experience. Yeah, he's a big name. So I mean, Eddie George could be that. I don't know if Central is I want to say it's a HBCU, and if it is, then like you said on the past episode of ours on Raw Mind Sports, we can see him make it a do. You never know. you know, but I don't think he's gonna move. But you know,
Yeah.
he's definitely he definitely has a valid resume at this very moment
Yeah,
to
he has a ballot. Yeah.
to be in there, and he beat Dion for the HBCU championship. So I think if anybody right now, he's first option. Hugh Jackson always could get a shot. I don't know if he wants to go back. I don't know if he's like, because you know, sometimes in the NFL, you know, when you get to these places, if you already got security, where if you're winning or losing, you like to stay grounded where you're at. But when you get to these NFL jobs or different jobs where they may have you there for a year or two, to get fired. Now you got to move people, move family. Yeah, you may get paid some really good money, but it's the headache of like moving back. This is raw thoughts up here. Like, it's the part we get to talk about when you got people who are not superior coaches. They're not Nick Saban or Belichick or Nick Saban, Belichick, other college coach. Dorian is kind of safe right now for NC State. I'm just naming those two right now, Belichick and
If you ain't those guys,
right,
you could be on a hot seat.
Right. You can be there. You could be there this year, moving everybody there, blah blah blah, and then you're gone.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. What have you done for me lately?
Right. Those guys easily get the I call it. Those guys easily get the chance to resign or step down if they want to. Everybody don't get that opportunity. So, you know, when you run around, if you have 1 or 2 bad seasons, you already move. Or maybe that 1 year ain't going good, you might get fired then, depending on what it is. Yeah, you may get your money, guaranteed money, but it's the principle, like doing all this moving. Like Dion has plenty of money outside of the contract he getting. So, you know, regardless, and he's making money and bringing in profit off the things he's doing. So, you know, for him to leave Mississippi, I already knew he wasn't going to stay there that long. He was just trying to prove a point. I don't think he want to be in Mississippi that long. That's not a market for Dion prime time. Colorado has a lot of money. Now, if he goes Florida State or
he'd have been
Texas, right, he'd have been gone. I mean, he probably had that. So, you know, those guys like him, he don't mind moving because he could do that. You know, it's Dion. The rest of them ain't got Dion money. I'm just being honest. Like raw thoughts, coach we just named ain't nowhere near the money that Dion has. He's made a lot of money in the NFL. He's in 1 3 Super Bowls. You know, he's a Hall of Famer. You know, he's probably getting a check from that. You know, so
endorsements and everything.
Right. So I mean, like that's the easy for him to move back and forth. He ain't hurt. You know, he don't mind moving. I don't think he like to stay in one spot. But the rest of the guys take this move and then bam, you fired. Okay. And then that's when you have those coaches that mentioned say, I'm gonna take a break right now. But that's all. That's my raw thoughts on that one.
Yeah. I you know, I could see possibly Target making a move, but you know, you think about this, right? In a few years, right? If you're great right now and you're the HBCU route, right? And you're hot right now, right? How do you know your team is going to be hot in a few years? You might potentially, some of your big name guys could leave, right? You might not have that momentum. And let's just say 4 years from now, your team is not as great, right? Now you want to leave. The team that's calling is probably the SWAC if you're in MEAC, right? It might not be the ACC, right? You know, so do you take the opportunity while you hot? Why you hot? Because listen, if you go to if you go from HBCU to ACC route or something like that, you can always come back home because you're going to even be a hotter commodity when you come back, right? They're going to want you. They're going to love you. Hey, you got ties to Duke. You got ties to Carolina. They'll bring you back easier, right? You know, that's the reason. That's my take from, you know, when you have that opportunity to make the move, go ahead and make the move because they could welcome you back. You know, there's opportunity. Some teams could welcome back, just like, you know, what I'm saying with our guy from Carolina, Wilks. You know, he has success there. I think it would be smart for them to bring him back. You know, but who knows, man? It might be another place for him out there, and I love the situation that he's in right now, guys. But yeah, right. Yeah, oh yeah. This is our new segment right here. I love bringing the new segments on the show, man. Our one word segment, and for today, we're gonna talk about the Lions quarterback, ex-Tennessee guy, Hendon Hooker, Mr. Do It All. This is my guy right here, man. Like outside when he played.
Oh yeah, he came from Dudley. Yeah, from out that way. You know, I remember my uncle used to live across the street from him or something. And him and my son, my cousin, were like best friends. They went to school together. Yeah, Hookers. I just hate he didn't get a chance to win that state championship because they got suspended that year at Dudley. I think they got suspended out of the playoffs or something that season. Yeah, but yeah, Hendon Hooker this is the future. I mean, Jared Goff has done enough to keep them relevant, but Jared Goff ain't nobody you gonna keep as a franchise guy. You know, Hendon Hooker's time is about to come. Oh boy, I think Jared Goff gonna finish out the season. I don't see them changing, switching out anything. But next season they may say, you know, we're gonna just try this out, see what we can do with this kid. And the way the NFL is moving now, they're moving to the mobile quarterback.
Yes.
Regardless of how bad Russell, he ain't been playing bad, but Russell is still around. Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray. I'm just naming a guy. I ain't saying they're like dominant of greatness. Lamar Jackson. Tua's not of that. Tua's more a pocket guy. Malik Willis will probably be doing that for
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Think about it. That's all. You don't really have like a just
Tyrod Taylor.
right. You don't have like a pocket quarterback no more. Like the guy that just sit in the pocket. When I say that, I know people are like, what you mean by pocket? Like just sit in the pocket, just throwing. These guys are moving. They just sitting there and looking around trying to throw it. No, they're moving around. They're moving. Patrick Mahomes, of course. You know, those guys are moving, man. So it's a different league, man.
Yeah. I honestly, you know, I could potentially see. I know this is a long shot. If they open his practice window, right? So that means within the next month, he'll be able to practice and potentially with the type and style of player he is, and he can make every single throw. You know what I mean? You saw him versus Alabama and those teams in SEC last year. I think he could potentially come in and battle and potentially, you know, maybe put the quarterback on some hot fire this year if he has some bad play down the road, maybe closer. But I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what he does down there, man. I want to see him. You know, I want to see him elevate, man. And I think he could really elevate that Lions offense. You know, give him another option, man. You know, give him some flash back there. And I think the offensive coordinator he gonna lick his chops when this guy gets ready to start playing. Like we saw what he could do at Tennessee when he gets ready to play. Oh man, I sure hate it for Goff, man. His days are limited there. I feel
pretty
like
much.
Oh yeah. Look, man, I had to put this up here, man, because you know we got two Tarboro guys in here, man. We couldn't not talk about Tarboro. You know, championship bound. We couldn't we couldn't have a show where we wouldn't, you know, bring that up, man. But Tarboro making it a championship, man. And I got a question for you because I know you cover Tarboro, man, and Tarboro is huge, man. And I don't get to be down there as much as you do, man. And what makes those guys so dominant? You know, back to back championship or making it to the championship and conference regional champions 7 times in a row, man. Why are they so dominant, man? Like, what's going on?
One of the differences with this school, with this area, man, when it comes to football, like they pretty much raise them from the parks and rec. They run the system down at Parks Red. They run the system there at the middle school, and they run the system at Tarboro High. Like you go to these schools, these bigger cities, you know, you may run a wing tee at a recreation. Then you get to the school, maybe a spread. Then you may get to the school, it might be another T formation instead of wing tee or RPO or whatever. So a lot of teams in those big cities, kids may lose a coach. A different coach may come in, and you may have to learn the system immediately differently compared to what you've been running. A lot of those kids don't have run the same system from Parks and Rec to the middle school to high school. That's the benefit of Tarboro. Like they can run the same style of play there, and these kids they're already processed at an early age at Parks and Recs to be disciplined, and they're already in work hard mode at an early age, and they didn't sing the championships from the high school. So in their mind, they want to be just like that. So it's a product that's a proven product. Tarboro's won a lot of state championships, quite a few state championships, and that product motivates the young kids at an early age from 8 to 9 years old to do the same thing. Like it's not nothing they're just talking. They're actually seeing it, and they're going to the games, and it's in their subconscious, and they're like, I want to do this. So they understand the work ethic and the mindset. Because of that age early, like you know, like especially when you've seen Tarboro these recent years to win these state championships, kids be jumping up and down. So that's the difference. Because like I'm like in Raleigh for prime example. Like I said again, all these schools run different stuff. By the time they get to high school, they learn one system, then they go to another high school, it's another system, or then they get to high school. It's so many different systems. So it's like
different terminology.
Right. It ain't like college football where, like, of course, if you go to school, you transfer, you gotta learn the system, you gotta be able to jump on it quick because you're at that age, you're at a high level of thinking, so you should be able to understand the system quickly and be able to use it. Just depends on systems, and kids around here understand the system very well, and that helps with the work ethic.
I agree, man. I agree. Look, watching the Warriors play and you seeing those guys running the same Tarboro T, and my nephew actually played ball for a little league team in Tarboro, and I'm like, they had no association with Tarboro, and they was still running the same system. And I'm like, it's just amazing just seeing that all these youth teams, they run similar systems, and you can kind of plug and play. And now when they get ready to go to Tarboro High, they already understand what they're trying to do, their job, their mission. They already understand. They've been put into place and winning championships, and it's just amazing, man, just to see the success that they have, man. And I believe in Maurice that drives buses for ECU and drives for Tarboro. He coaches for Tarboro High, right?
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Shouts out to Maurice, man. Hats off, man. You guys are doing great out there, man. And I heard a post about Coach Reams. Coach Reams getting it done over there, man. I remember done.
A lot of energy. No doubt. Yes. He has a lot of energy. He's still the man, so no doubt about that.
Man.
Coach Reams doing great.
Yes, bring back a lot of Tarboro memories, man. When we had Coach Suggs out there, Carter Ray.
Oh, man.
My God,
rest in peace to him, man.
Yes, rest in peace, man.
Miss Coach Suggs to this day, man.
Yes, you gotta move. You gotta move, man. I remember Coach would say, listen, I'm telling you. Listen, I probably was the worst defensive back for Tarboro, but when I get in my stance, Coach be like, "You gotta move." I'm like, "Hey, Coach, I'm moving, Coach. I'm moving." Oh, hey, that's an inside joke with me and Shaw, man. Mark Shaw, man. Coach with, "Hey, Coach, get on to you every day, man. You gotta move, man. Come on, what you doing, Andrew? Get in your stance."
Man, good times, man. Good memories, no doubt about it.
Yes, sir, man. But I got one more question before we get off this show for today, man. And this might hit a little home, and it's a little different, but all that success that Tarboro's having, man, and they having back to back since probably early 2000s. Would Craddock ever possibly take an offer? I mean, because he could champions out the year after year. He would be a hot commodity on the college scopes. I mean, like, especially from a schematic, part. But could he possibly be a guy that could go that route?
Raw thoughts. That's a great question. I need to ask him. I don't know for sure. I know he loves football a lot. I do know that personally. I know he loves football a lot. But I really don't know. Like, I don't know if he would or not. He may be happy. His youngest graduates next year. I know he'll be the chance to be able to retire. His wife will be able to retire next year or the year after. I can't remember which one of those two. So, I mean, who knows? We shall see.
You think it get boring from him after a while? I mean, like, listen, when you win so many championships and it just start getting easy, you're like,
man, that guy eats, breathes, and sleeps. And I mean,
it never gets old
with football.
Never gets
lunch
old,
with
right?
football. Yeah, he loves, like, he really has a consistent love for football. That's his, regardless they win or lose, that's like his safe space. Like, that's his peace of mind. I remember when COVID happened, he didn't know what to do with himself. Raw thoughts, and he couldn't get out there and practice and coach football. He felt like a different guy. So they had everybody sitting in. You couldn't go nowhere, do this, do that. Yep. Like, oh man,
no fans at the games when they started up. Tough,
no
man.
Fans at the games, and not only that, you had to check kids all the time if they had COVID or not. He really wanted to get the kids back in school. He didn't like it. He loves football. That's all he knows. And like sitting in that house during football season, I know it drove him crazy. Just raw thoughts.
Look, man. Hey, look. During COVID, I was working for a team too, so it was really tough for me. I mean, just thinking about like fans during a game, like you miss fans when you think about this, right? When you have games and you have fans there, you don't think about it. But when you go to a game and ain't nobody there, mentally, it's a whole different thing, man. So, yeah. honestly, I think he's good where he's at right now, but it would be interesting to see him possibly take a job. I could see some big teams like Carolina, somewhere where they haven't had a lot of success, be like, listen, he can recruit the Carolina area because he's been a head coach for so many years. Maybe we get some of those guys from Tarboro, but hey, that's something that can be down the road or whatever, man. But guys, this is it for our show today, man. Any final words from you, Prime, before we
Man, I appreciate you having me on the Coach's Corner, man. This was pretty cool, mellow. I got mellow. Now I gotta get hyped for my own show now. It was a different vibe, so I guess maybe this is what I needed, Yeah, man.
I think you got it, man. Look, Prime, listen, you can turn on anytime. Remember you used to play ball at Tarboro High, man, prime time. We got remember the favorite play 7P2 drop, you know what I'm saying? Hit you on that post, Prime running that post, man. Ball from Jamel. Hey, yes, sir. Hey.
No, man, I'm excited. Oh yeah, no doubt about that. They're still there. They still there. Yeah, they still run that. There.
Yes. Hey, look, let me tell you, man, that ain't nobody ever gonna stop that play, man. When you run the ball 30, 40 times and then you sneak that tight end out on that route. I ain't gonna say the route, but if you sneak that tight end out, man, it's gonna be there because the safeties, linebackers, everybody's eyes in the backfield. So that's a done
right.
deal.
I agree. Yeah, because it's always like a trick play. Because when you run it so much, it's like, man, you don't know the pass. And pass is a trick play in Tarboro High. Because it ain't like most teams, they throw the ball a lot and stuff. So you know how that goes.
Gotcha. Hey, look, guys, this is it for our show, man. We're going to go to our couple intros and our sponsor, and then we'll be about this thing, man.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah! Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Ran y'all clouds into the ground. I told you, didn't I? Oh, what? What you got to say now? What you got to say now? Say something. That's right. Cowboys all the way, baby. This year we the champs. Yo!
And this show right here is brought to you guys by Echelon Bell.